Find the Fruit is definitely a hit mobile game.
Yes.
For sure. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Game Scoop. I'm your host, Damon Hatfield. The first Game Scoop of 2017. With me this week is Justin Davis.
Scoop.
Brian Altano. Sam Claiborne.
Hey, everybody.
We've got a great show for you this week. We're going to talk about the big video game anniversaries coming up this year in 2017. We're going to talk about the upcoming M-rated games on the horizon. I'm going to quiz you on their on the reasons why they got
I love this.
their rating.
Great.
But first, Chris, we're just back from holiday break.
Yeah. And it's time to clear up the air that Sonic is actually a pretty good series and has some good games.
We're doing that? We're going to do that again? All
Now
right.
that Jared's
Here
here,
we
we
go.
can finally admit that we all just could not stand him.
Yeah.
Friendly.
God.
Okay.
What a... It's you can be too nice is the problem.
No, I wanted to know if you guys got any video game related gifts over the holidays.
Well, so I built in November, I talked about it on the show, I built a gaming PC, and like a lot of gaming PC builds, it ended up being a little bit pricier than I wanted to be. I didn't go completely ham on it, but it's like, well, if I spend 30 more bucks on this and 20 more bucks on this, so I went a little bit out of my budget, and so that ended up being, like, that was my big Christmas present in November, was I built a gaming PC that should last for many, many, many years.
Yeah, and you've been enjoying it.
Oh, it's great. It's the best.
How about you guys?
Nope. Nothing.
Nothing?
No, ever since I got this job, and it's like this is the easiest thing in the world to complain about. But people stopped giving me video games because they're like, "Oh, you guys have them at work," and I was like, "But I love opening video games on Christmas morning."
I missed that too. I totally know what you mean. Like, you'd be like one or two a year when you're a little kid.
Yeah.
And then when you're in college, maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah.
It's hard. And like you'd really count on Christmas to get a game.
Yep. Yeah.
And it was a tough decision to make and it's something to ask for.
I had my birthday's in early February, and so my system was like my second shot.
Yeah.
Like whatever I didn't, I'd have a big Christmas list, and if I didn't get Double Dragon, didn't get this, then birthday was like my second chance to get what I wanted.
So I got 2 games for Christmas, and like you guys, I after a while of working at IGN and not getting games for Christmas, I missed that feeling. So I've started reserving a couple games to like put on my wish list.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
So I got Persona 4 Golden.
Oh, nice.
Vita, because I never
And
played
you
it.
have a Vita?
I have a Vita.
All right. I want to play that on Vita. I don't have a Vita though. I should borrow one and play it.
Yeah, it's great. So Andrew Goldfarb will be very happy to hear. It'll be my first Persona game.
It's supposed to be like one of the best RPGs ever.
Yeah, it is the highest rated Vita game.
I didn't think it was that great.
Well, okay.
Justin got some haterade for Christmas.
Yeah.
I also got an import PS4 game. I got Puyo Puyo versus Tetris.
Ooh.
Nice.
Finally, those two were battling again.
Who's going to win?
Well, we're going to find out. But I love Puyo Puyo games. This is a new Puyo Puyo. And since it's a puzzle game, I don't think any knowledge of Japanese language is
Puyo
required.
Puyo, which Bubble series is that?
That's the Sega one. Well, Compile.
It's the 2 bubbles, right? The sets of 2.
Yeah,
Sets of
they're
two,
following down
okay.
the jellies, falling down
Do
the
we
screen
have that in
different
the
colors.
arcade machine out here?
I'm not sure if we have a Puyo
like
Puyo.
one of the-
There's like 10 Puyo Puyos
Yeah.
that have been released over the years.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But different
really
from
good
Bust a Move and
Yes, you're not shooting the bubbles up; they're falling down,
I don't
like
think I've ever
Tetris
played
style.
one of those.
And the like-colored jellies will join together to create longer jellies.
Yeah.
So I didn't really get any video game Christmas gifts, but I ended up having sort of a video game Christmas because I brought home an NES Classic.
There you go.
Nice.
And my brothers, who are sort of like, they grew up watching me play video games and playing video games with me. They're both younger. I have 2 brothers. They don't really play anymore because they're adults, and they don't get to do what I do for a living. They have real jobs. And I brought it home and hooked it up to the TV, which is very hard to do because it turns out like parents don't have
HDMI.
TVs with HDMI connectors.
My dad doesn't.
Yeah,
Isn't that
I
crazy?
know. I totally know.
I was like, oh, this will
painful.
work. Nope, not a thing.
Every year I'm like, Dad, you got to get a new TV. It's like an old
Yeah.
a box. It's like as big as this table.
Like
It's
not
got the
even
big
component
butt on the
or
back of it.
anything.
We
Yeah.
replace every 8 years or so, we get our parents, like it's their Christmas present
Yeah.
from us.
I
That's
guess
awesome.
you could give our parents our old TVs.
yeah.
So I set up the
Never
NES
think about it
Classic,
that way.
and my brothers started up Punch Out, and just like having not played that game in like 15 years, just ran through like the first 9 boxers in that game. And like I play video games all day, for a living. I've talked to my friends about it all day. I don't think I could do that. Like first of all, Punch Out was always like the weird, like rare, elusive NES game that I've never beaten. Like I just have never beaten that
I don't know
game
if it's possible to beat it as an older person.
as an old man. yeah, I
Well,
don't
you
think
can
so either.
You can beat Super Macho Man. But Mr. Dream or Mike Tyson, you're in trouble.
Yeah. I mean, I get messed up
pretty
by
close
Bulbo
with
too.
save states. Like I tried to do it with save states, and it was still. Really,
But even then,
really
you're
hard.
like inching along, hoping not to get punched. Yeah. So they had a really good time with that, and I was playing the Legend of Zelda Second Quest. Like, yeah, it was just really.
cool.
I'm kind of bummed Nintendo didn't have those everywhere for moments like that, because I think a lot of people could have had holidays like that.
Dude, Punch Out's such a great game.
Yeah.
Great game. Great game.
It looks good too. You still can't get NES Classics. They're still about $150 on eBay.
You know what?
Really?
Wow.
Punch Out makes me think about like if you haven't heard a song in a decade, and if someone's like, "Hey, what are the words to that song?" You'd be like, "I don't know." But then if you hear half the song, then you know it like puts you back in it.
Yeah.
And you're like, "Oh, now I know the other half of the song." And that's how Punch Out is for me. Like if you're like, "What's the pattern for the Great Tiger or Soda Popinski?" I'm like, "I don't know, man."
Especially because Punch Out only has one song.
No, but I mean, like if I'm not talking about the music anymore. You understand?
Yeah, of course.
So if you were to say what's the pattern for Soda Popinski, I'd be like, I don't know. But like if I played through the game, I promise you that like I could destroy that.
Isn't that
game.
weird? It's like muscle memory. I was like watching two people just get that back in their heads, and all of a sudden I'm like, there's something really magical about that.
I think about Punch Out a lot.
Yeah, it's a great game.
Nothing wrong with that.
One of the most violent puzzle games ever made.
I didn't play it back in the day. I only played it recently, and I love it.
It's a great game. All right, so Brian, you played a bunch of old NES games over your break. Sam and Justin, what did you guys play over break?
Well, I played a lot of Pokemon XY because I didn't bring my console back home with me. My console, so I played that, and then I've been playing. I'm just such a sucker for Final Fantasy. I'm playing so much of that game.
Still
and
like
I
it?
brought home this like stack of other things to play, and I would play a little bit of them and go back to Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
I caught up on some of our Game of the Year nominees. So I played through Batman, which I think is nominated for Best Story and probably Best Adventure Game. I really liked it. I didn't think it was exceptional. To me, it's like a solid 7 out of 10.
Sure.
It's like the video game equivalent of a page turner. Like I'm invested in the mystery, but like, I don't know, Telltale's shtick is like getting a little old.
Did
for
you
me.
play Batman VR?
No.
I think that looked cooler. There's all these Riddler trophies and stuff.
I had
still
a
wanna
really
play
good time with that.
You played that?
Yeah, I
Did
loved
you do
it.
the trophies?
Yeah, I did. They are.
There's like 30 of them.
They're
There's a
really
lot.
hard to get. So the problem with the Riddler trophies in Batman VR is like there'll be like one under the table in the game. So you physically are like on the floor, like reaching down, being like, how do I? And you don't actually do it because I did a lot of weird
can't see
contorting
anything,
to try to find trophies in that game, like with my real actual body.
I also played Titanfall 2.
Nice.
What's the My Mom Hid My Game game?
Oh, the mobile game.
Yeah.
Was that from Christmas break?
Yeah.
There's just this neat crap. What's it called? I'd
It's
love
like-
to name drop it.
yeah,
Remind
well-
me next week because I don't recall the exact
It's
name.
it's Mom Hid My Game, but it's in broken English.
Yeah. And it's on the App Store. It's on iOS and Android. And it's just a really, really funny, stupid free puzzle game.
But that
sounds
it
awesome.
reminded me of
a mom hides your
when you
DS
said-
and then you have to find it.
and it starts breaking the fourth wall in really weird ways.
Oh, that's my parents used to do that all the time.
It starts
Really?
out normal.
Oh, yeah.
Where would they
It
hide
starts
it?
out normal,
All
but
over
then
the place.
the
You're gonna be
DS
good
is
at this
hidden in
game.
like an alligator's mouth, like 4 levels in, and you're like,
Yeah.
what is this mom doing?
No, I got into trouble all the time as a kid, and my parents were like, "Oh, it must be video games' fault," and they would take my controllers or my NES or the games and hide them somewhere in the house and be like, "You're grounded," and then they would go out to like the store or something, and I'd find it
Me
because
too.
I'm not dumb,
Yeah.
and then I'd just play all afternoon.
I don't think my parents
did the
ever hid
exact same
anything
thing.
from me.
They always hid it in the same spot. So once I found the hiding spot once, they'd be like, I'm taking your controller. And I'm like, oh, dang.
Yeah.
But then I just knew where they were forever after that.
Pretty good.
They also took the computer mouse. I would get grounded from the computers, and they would take the mouse but leave the keyboard. And you can actually like tab around and open web browsers and
right.
stuff using just the keyboard. And so I did a lot of that growing up too.
I played 3 main things over break. Like Sam, played a bunch of Final Fantasy 15. 30 some hours. Chapter 8 is where I am. I don't know if I'll finish the game. I think I've decided that.
I'm kind of in the same spot as you because that's not very far in the game chapter wise.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of hours.
Yeah.
So that just means you're screwing around a lot. That's what I was
Well,
doing.
I think I've decided I really like the combat. I think the combat is a lot of fun, but I don't care about anything that's happening or the story
Right.
or
What
any
about
of that
the
stuff.
date?
So it's like, I mean, that you do go on a date, yeah. Here's
Here's the thing about that
it's some
date. You
dating.
can choose to be nice or mean to the girl on the date, but then the dialogue, if you choose to be nice, between those choices is all mean.
Oh.
So it's
Yeah,
like
so it's
he's
just-
nice when you choose him to be nice, and then she'll like talk to you, and he'll just be like, whatever. Like all the incidental dialogue, he's him being a jerk.
His heart is promised to someone else, Sam.
Right.
And
Those
I
two
also-
dogs, right?
Yeah, the dogs. I also played a lot of Invisible Ink, which was free on PlayStation Plus last month, and that's a really fun turn-based strategy game, corporate espionage game. But the game that I spent the most time with over break that I had the most fun with was this new tower defense game on iPad called Dungeon Warfare.
Oh, I know that game.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's actually been available on Steam, I think, for a couple years now. It came to iPad last year, and they're running a sale over the holidays. It was $2.
That's when you push them into pits and stuff, right?
Yeah, you're like the demon overlord that runs the
heroes
dungeon,
come in.
and the heroes are spilling in trying to get into to steal your treasure, and you have to build traps to keep them from it. Well, super fun.
What's it on?
I played on iPad, but it's also on Steam and probably
I've
Android.
always wanted to play a game like that.
Yeah,
That
I played a
sounds
lot of
really
that. It's top down, and
really good.
I like that you can. It is tower defense because you're making lanes for them to walk through, but then
Yeah.
you build a bunch of traps, and so you can be really smart about like you can squish them by putting 2 blocks together that'll just smash.
Yeah,
them
you can
over
push
and
them into pits of lava.
Yeah.
There's
That
a
game was
hook,
great.
a hook trap that'll like shoot out and grab them and then pull them into a pit. So it's really fun. And then there are runes that you can add that will modify the game rules and either make them easier or harder. So when I play tower defense games, I try not to let anyone get to the base. And there's a rune in there that reduces your health to just 1, but then gives you a bonus 50% experience points. So I get to play the way I want to play and earn extra experience points.
Oh, that's
for it. So
awesome.
it's awesome. Dungeon Warfare, I recommend it.
I actually ended up. I didn't play that many video games over break because I had an anime break. I
Do
was
you watch Yuri on
I
Ice?
watched Yuri on Ice.
Everybody's watching it.
And so all the anime girls here in the office love Yuri on Ice so much. So I watched it, and then that got me on an anime kick. So I watched Death Note and watched a bunch of other stuff too.
Is
Was
Yuri
Yuri
really
good?
that good?
I don't like it as much as them.
Okay.
It is like it's a beautifully animated show. Like if you watch that and then watch like a cheaper anime, like you can just see like
Right.
just the quality of how it looks. I really can appreciate the just the artistry of all of that. But I'm not as involved in their romance as maybe some people are.
You should watch Food Wars.
Yeah,
Watch
I know
Food
you
Wars
like that
next.
one a lot. That's on my list.
All right, let's move on. Looking ahead at 2017, the year that we are in right now. Yep. I've got a list of the big video game anniversaries that are happening this year. So, starting with games that are turning 10 this year, games that came out in 2007. Would you believe the original Assassin's Creed
Is 10?
You're a liar.
turns 10 years old this year?
Wow.
So you were working at IGN when that came out.
I was. I was in my second year.
Did you like Assassin's Creed when it came out?
No, the first one was
First one's
not
no good.
very good.
Yeah.
I liked
Second
it when
one
it came
I
out.
loved.
I liked it at the time.
Second one's the business.
I mean, I think I understood its ambition. I hadn't played the second one yet, obviously.
I
But
remember people
Hadn't you?
like people that didn't play games that had a system would buy that game just because it was beautiful.
Yeah,
like I remember
yeah.
being like that game is the best graphics. Like
yeah, it was
that
a really
something
good.
that people
It was a
talked
good
about.
like showpiece. It was a good game to show off.
And easy to control. You know, all you had to do was hold the trigger, and he would, Altair would clamor up everything.
Yeah.
That's
now,
kind of the first game that did that.
like now every game does that, but
Yeah.
that was like the one that innovated that.
So it's
the
not
win button?
It's not even confirmed that we're getting the new Assassin's Creed game this fall, right?
Well, there's been some leaks, but Ubisoft has not officially announced
Yeah.
the next Assassin's Creed game.
Right.
This is
yet.
the first time they've skipped a year in a very long time.
They skipped
I know.
last year, yeah. Well, not ever.
Oh, really?
The first one was in 2007. 2 came in 2009.
Oh,
so
and then
2008
and
is
then
the
they
only
started
year
doing the
it's-
named ones.
then
Yeah.
they annualized it.
It
Yep.
was Brotherhood and everything.
Wait, Brotherhood's secretly the best Assassin's Creed.
What about remember there was a 3DS or a DS one?
Yeah, there were
remember
a
that was
couple,
like
yeah.
a weird
Yeah.
isometric angle.
Oh, weird. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if Ubisoft has anything big planned this year. The movie totally tanked. The movie lost about $40 million.
Yeah,
Did anybody
I-
see
in
it?
theaters.
No.
I kind of want to. I like bad movies. I kind of want to see it.
You'll see it on a plane one of these days.
I always watch.
the sound
things on
will
a
be
plane.
off. You'll be watching on someone else's screen.
I watched half of Batman v Superman on one plane and then half on a different plane like a month later.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's what I go.
It's hilarious.
It
the
is.
movie is hilarious.
It is. No, it definitely. I think it's so bad that it's funny to watch.
Oh, it's so much fun
It's
watching it.
just
Like I get a
it's
little
so
bit bored
long.
during the worst Marvel movies, but that kept my attention.
Yeah.
Man.
I clapped every time there was a horse on screen, which happened probably 6 more times than I thought
lot
would
of
happen.
horses.
A lot of horses in that film.
Also turning 10 this year is Mass Effect. You'll remember 2007 was a great year for games.
Yeah.
Mass Effect, Xbox
goodness.
exclusive at launch.
Yeah. Was it originally
Really?
Xbox
Yeah.
exclusive? I think today we just got the,
Remember the
release
elevators?
date. Yeah.
God.
Elevator loading screens.
Yeah, like shift like this.
I'm still hung up on Altano clapping whenever a horse comes on screen. I like the idea that you do that in any context in any movie.
In every movie. Yeah. I was insufferable during Seabiscuit.
Lord of the Rings.
Just the whole film. Oh my God, another horse.
Yeah, so we got confirmation on Mass Effect Andromeda's release date, March 21st. I believe. So,
Mass Effect, I remember, was kind of promised as this big open exploration game, and it totally was like a linear game, kind of go back to planets, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I don't even think this Mass Effect is going to be that, but one day,
Someday
there's
we'll
going to
get
be a
that
Mass
Mass
Effect
Effect.
where it's like you can jump around to planets and all these solar systems. It's going to be so cool, and they're all going to be great. I think No Man's Sky was that game, but
Well.
without the rest of it.
Yeah.
What if they had
was
No
just
Man's
that.
Sky as the exploration part of just the mini game exploration part instead of the mining planets crap?
yeah. Well,
That-
I like
that should
Mining
just be
Planets
what
was
that
pretty
is
fun. I did a lot of
in
mining
Mass Effect.
planets back in the day.
Dude, so did I. But the Mako, I think, was better than the mining planets.
If you love mining, you'll love No Man's Sky. That's the thing you do in that game
and
a lot.
I do love it.
Good.
I liked.
And I like Sonic the Hedgehog too. I think it's a really fun game.
Probably the best game ever made.
And
IGN.com.
I think Tails is really fun to play as 2-player.
I found out a thing at PSX now that we're talking about Sonic the Hedgehog, but did you know that his tails are a completely separate sprite?
No, I didn't
It's
know
not
that.
one sprite. It's
Did
just
you know the sprites in Punch-Out are extra big because of hardware in the cartridge?
No, I didn't know that.
They had to make a
Jared Petty joined
different
over there.
video game in that.
I thought they were separate sprites because like the arms would be separate sprites from the body and stuff, and they would trick the NES that way. It had custom hardware in it. That's cool.
But for Tails, those Tails, man.
Yeah,
They
it's like a separate.
They spin like this.
Yep.
Did you know his name is actually Miles
Tails
per
per hour.
hour?
Yeah.
Per hour?
Yeah.
Miles per hour. Oh man.
Yeah.
Miles Tails per hour.
I'm gonna go home and cry.
Per hour. I didn't get that until like 5 years ago.
BioShock turns 10 this year.
Oh damn, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
And there's a couple of these on this list that I thought they maybe missed. They jumped the gun a little bit with their like remasters or re-releases because the collection came out last year, and maybe they should have waited till the 10th anniversary.
So wait, like 2017 looks awesome, but 2007 seems like a tough year to beat.
I mean,
BioShock was the first game. It has a special place in my heart, not just because it's an excellent game, which it is, but it was the first game I played on my new HD television.
Yeah.
Like I had a boxy square SD television in 2007. That's the year I got my first HD TV.
Yeah.
It's a little late, but that's the year that I jumped in.
I got one that year too.
And so I played half that game on like my old screen and got my new screen. And it's just like, blah, just like not only is it twice as big, but it's actual widescreen and high res now.
That game was really colorful in a time where a lot of the Assassin's Creed Gears and stuff like that, they're all very gray.
It's true.
And we're never gonna have like I went from a 720p to a 1080p TV. Eventually, someday I'll get a 4K TV. But I think that jump from SD to widescreen HD, like I'm probably never gonna experience that again.
I mean, especially
like,
the first 10 minutes
I
of
guess
that game.
VR is kind of like
VR is
that.
kind of like that, yeah. The original Crackdown.
Aw,
10 years old.
dang.
Those orbs.
Are we getting a sequel this year?
Man,
We put it on our list, but
it's
no.
it's totally gone dark. That game is totally gone dark.
There's something.
Crackdown 2 is really, really difficult for me. I did the guide for it and it sucked.
Crackdown 2 is
bad.
bad.
I remember you doing that guide.
It was brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had started at the same
It's a
time.
candidate for most disappointing sequel.
Yeah.
A game I spent a lot of time with in 2007. Turning 10 this year is Peggle.
Yeah,
Nice. I remember you being the biggest Peggle fan.
Yeah.
And you had that Peggle mug?
Yeah.
for years. You
Rest in
just lost
peace.
it. R.I.P.
Yeah. Well, it's been a couple years now since
Oh,
the,
I thought
the
that was.
mug
I
broke.
thought that was a victim of 2016.
No. Remember that game, the original Overlord?
Yeah,
That game was really fun. That came out in
loved Overlord.
2007.
Overlord,
You're the bad guy.
you're a dark
there's, like,
lord, and then
minions
it's
control
like
the minions.
It's like
Oh,
Pikmin.
right.
it's
right.
And
It's like evil
It's not
Pikmin.
minions,
No.
as we know
But
them
they
now.
are your no.
They were
They're
called minions.
they're little imps, and you go around. It's really funny. You're a send up of hobbits and all the rest.
Was that a
of it.
downloadable
Trash.
game or was that a?
No, it was a
full
full
game, yeah.
A
Okay.
full retail release. I think 2007 is still before the big downloadable game explosion. Skate came out in 2007.
My first written piece ever for IGN was
Skate?
that strategy guide.
Oh, really?
IGN
That's
fans
awesome.
still, anytime we write an article about any skateboarding game, they want a Skate. What is it? Did Skate 3 come out, or is that,
Yeah,
is that
Skate
what they
2
want?
and 3 both came out.
Okay, so they want another Skate. Skate 4, I guess.
Skate is so fun.
Yeah,
what
I
a
don't
great
understand.
game and great music in it.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I don't get how that franchise just went away. I
It got
mean,
a little bit cheapy and weird,
Yeah.
and then I think it was at the same time as like Tony Hawk came back and it failed. It just I
yeah.
don't know. Skate games. Just
You
went
think
away.
Tony Hawk killed the skate franchise by
With-
making
with
bad
that
Tony
board.
Hawk games?
Remember that?
Yeah,
Tony Hawk Ride.
the ride.
It was full of
goodness
technology.
gracious.
It was.
Odin Sphere came out in 2007. So it's,
Yeah,
again,
played that.
They put out that remaster last year, which is really good, but
Wait, what platforms are remaster on?
Vita and PS4.
I have it on the back of my list as like a game that I like. I had a million games I was gonna check out over Christmas break and played none of them.
Well.
but it was on my list for Christmas break. I definitely want to get around to
Yeah,
it.
it's a good one. Super Mario Galaxy
Oh,
Oh
dude.
man, IGN's game of the year.
came out in 2007.
I was at the launch event for that at the Nintendo World Store, I believe, in New York City. And
Did you
it
get
was,
electroplankton while you were there?
I got
that was the
hypothermia practically when I got there. It was like really, really cold. I remember that. That game was incredible when it first came out.
Yeah.
I mean, it still
It's still
is.
incredible,
Like, there's a couple of like wonky motion control things in that game, but for the most part, like that, I can't think of the last time I played a platforming game that just was that incredibly impressive from
Yeah,
top
there
to bottom.
haven't been a lot of platforming games since then. 3D.
It's a true design like masterclass. Like that
Yeah.
game's gonna be around 10, 20, 30 years from now and sit right alongside Mario World and Mario 3.
The first time you do like a long jump or a triple jump in that game and you end up on like going around the planet is like there's nothing else like it. It
does feel
it's
good.
so cool.
Catching those
So-
rabbits kind of sucks though.
Yeah, that was really bad. It's always sucked. I hate those rabbits.
So hopefully they'll bring that back for the Switch. I'd love just a sort of
HD remake?
a 10th anniversary HD remake. For
That would be
the-
awesome. And just like portable, play it on a plane.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be totally down with that.
the original Uncharted is 10 years old this year.
Wow.
Okay, yeah, 2007.
Right?
We're not beating that
we're
this
not
year.
even done. Halo 3
What?
came out that year.
We did all of this for History of Awesome,
Yeah.
and 2007 is one of the games that we earmarked as like there's an argument to be made that it's the best year ever for video games.
Zelda Phantom Hourglass came out that year.
I actually really
love
like that
that
one.
game.
Yeah, me too.
10 years old. I love the art style.
I like Spirit Tracks a lot better, but I like those games.
So,
People
I
got
like-
frustrated with them.
I don't like.
I like the dungeons better in Spirit Tracks, but I think I like the overall game better in Phantom
Because
Hourglass.
Phantom Hourglass
Train
has
is
that
pretty
terrible
interesting.
big single dungeon.
Yeah, but it also
that-
has
that
that
is
giant
frustrating.
like open
It's
world.
hard, though.
I mean, it's got a whole ocean. They have a DS-shaped island in that game you can
There's
visit.
a puzzle in that game that everybody gets stuck on,
that
and
the one
I
where you
got
have
stuck on it. Yeah,
close
where
it?
it's just giving you all these hints about that you're. Don't you see an image backwards? Don't you see an image backwards? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then you're supposed to close your DS and open it up again, and it prints the image forwards.
Did they fix
on the
that when
bottom
they
screen?
ported it to Wii U? How did
Did
they
they?
how did they handle that
I
puzzle?
have no idea.
Nobody
Push your
knows.
Wii U against your television.
Well, I was just gonna wonder. Like, like my memory is that I didn't care for Phantom Hourglass or Spirit Tracks. Like, that's kind of when I fell off of the Zelda franchise in general. Because then I skipped the Wii U one.
Yeah. You mean Skyward Sword?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, those
That's sweet.
two DS
Yeah.
games, then they didn't, excuse me. And they didn't feel as special. And I just didn't play them. But now I'm kind of like, well, maybe I should go back and give them another shot. Maybe I'll pick them up on the Wii U. My Wii U still hooked
Any
up to
Zelda
my-
I think
game
they're
is
like $10.
basically better than most other
Yeah.
games.
Even like the worst
They're all
Zelda
good.
games are still really good
I also
games.
just really didn't care for the touch
I assume
controls
you're not talking about the CDI games.
I love those games.
No,
Wild
although
Gamelon?
I would love
Give
to
me
play
more.
those. We don't have them here, do we? Those games are really expensive.
CDI.
I mean, I even played through that 4-player one last year. Or
That game's great.
Yeah, but I
Oh,
played by
Triforce Heroes?
myself. It was really hard.
I played it by
You did
myself
too. I remember
too.
we talked
Yeah,
about it
I was
online.
like, what are we doing?
Wii Fit is 10 years old.
I have a long train ride.
That means the balance board is 10 years old, I guess.
Yeah.
The World Ends With You.
Ugh,
I played the.
Whoa.
the hair. It's just silly. It's silly. I mean, it's fun. Yeah, I like it.
I think people like that.
I didn't
know
like how
it. I know
people
they do. I'm not
people
gonna
always
bash
like wrote that game out like TWEW.
Yeah.
It was like
Tui.
Tweewee.
Tui-wee.
I played that game
Tui.
on mobile. Square Enix, or I don't know that they were responsible for the port, but someone, ported it to mobile, to iOS, and it's actually really, really good. I would have thought it would have been impossible,
Yeah.
because if you played that game, its whole conceit is the top and bottom screen. Like,
Right.
there's separate stuff happening on the top screen and bottom screen. And they totally made it work. Like, when you play it on iPad, you don't feel like you're missing anything, or it was a really, really great way to. I played it on both consoles, and it was excellent on mobile.
Hey, you mentioned Halo 3. I think that might be my favorite Halo game, but
Yeah, me too.
sometimes I feel like I like to reach a lot. I know people hate on that one.
Me too.
I like when you go from the sky or the ground to the sky in that one mission. It's great. The Halo 3 is really fun. Wow.
3's my favorite.
The Orange Box is 10 years old.
Oh
What?
man,
That was the same year?
I remember the discussions around. Like I remember, because I wasn't at IGN at the time, but I remember reading a bunch of different sites were debating about whether that could be Game of the Year or not.
Yep.
Yeah.
We did.
Because
IGN did.
yeah, because it had Game of the Years in it.
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
The new stuff was Portal and Episode 2
and
Yeah.
Team
Team
Fortress
2.
2.
what a crazy value.
Yeah.
There's
Could you
never
imagine
been
that?
anything like it.
Yeah,
That's
plus,
insane.
I mean, plus all of Half-Life 2 and
Yeah.
Episode 1.
Like what? How do you
Yeah.
you just drop a disc that has a bunch of awesome classic games on it, but also a bunch of brand new games on it, like
Yeah.
Portal?
Yeah, it's amazing.
What?
Especially the company that came up with Steam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just weird.
I mean, the Orange Box, Portal. So I got the Orange Box, like everybody else. I got it mostly for Episode 2. And then no one knew what Portal was.
Yeah.
Like, you have to put yourself back in the mindset 10 years ago. Nobody had ever heard of it. Nobody knew what this thing was. It was just this thing included on the Orange Box. And so playing that game blind, sort of like BioShock or like one of those games, like I did it in one sitting. I beat Portal in one sitting because just 'cause you start and you can't stop, and this AI is taunting you. And then when you leave, spoilers, when you break out of the facility, like, I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Like, I'm like, am I supposed to be doing this? Am I breaking the game? And then you find out it's part of the game, and she keeps talking to you, and like again, that's one of those things in the 10 years since Portal was so influential that like lots of games have sort of had that feel, like the Talos Principle and The Witness, and lots of games have sort of given you this peek behind the scenes. But I'd never played anything like that with Portal, and I wasn't expecting it when I played Portal. And so that feeling was just great. And then it ends on the song, and oh man.
The song and the cake and everything. That game was like the source of so many memes.
I know.
Yeah, it's true.
Like stuff like the cake is a
Companion
lie.
Cube.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the companion cube. That's so like cringy now, but like at the time, like it was just.
Oh yeah.
That song was stuck in my head for the year.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
That's-
totally.
It was just, that's all I heard.
Yeah, that was like just an amazing treasure to just be like, oh, this feels like a little like offshoot game that a bunch of people made in their spare time with this extra
Wait,
gun.
was Rock Band this year?
In 2007? I didn't include it on my list, but it
Because I was
sounds.
going to say, I remember that was a song in Rock Band. And that
Yeah,
was,
that sounds right.
Could that have also been?
It's 2008.
Might have been next year.
Man, that game was so fun.
I wish like Portal is one of my games that I would most like to just wipe from my memory and go through and
try
again for
again,
the
yeah.
first time.
And finally, a failed experiment that was a little ahead of its time. Turns 10 years old this year. Shadowrun. Remember the Xbox
Which was,
exclusive?
yeah, I remember it.
Well, that's like
And it
totally
was,
like that's
multiplayer-
Overwatch a decade
It was
before.
multiplayer only. And at the time, we were like, "What are we supposed to do with this? There's no single player." And today, that's like all the rage.
Well, not
so crazy.
only was it multiplayer only, but it was also class based. Like a lot of really weird, strange classes with weird, strange powers. You know that you had to work together as a team. And I remember the only thing I remember about that game was there was a healing tree.
Yeah.
There's one class that could make a tree that would heal the other characters. And like nobody knew. Like if that game came out today,
Yeah.
it'd be free to play and would have been a big hit.
It's 10 years ago.
I have always had a soft spot in my heart for Shadowrun. People were also really mad, not just because it was multiplayer only, but Shadowrun was a beloved,
Like RPG.
yeah, RPG series,
And they turned it into this online shooter.
shooter. Yeah, but I don't know, it got a really bad rap, unfairly.
Two notable games are turning 15 this year. So 2002 was Final Fantasy 11.
The first
Also
MMO.
a little bit ahead of its time, maybe. That was their first MMO.
I never played. Oh, that's the MMO. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was going to say that's why I never played.
Yeah, I think it lasted a while. Never garnered.
It's
a
still around.
Huge. It's still going. People are still.
And it
playing
was
Final
on
Fantasy
PS2,
11.
right?
They're still
they were
releasing-
able to do.
PC, it was
the
on
MMO.
PC and PS2.
They're running. I have no like stats on how successful it is, but they're running both MMOs concurrently.
What?
11's still around.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
People are still paying a 15-year-old MMO.
yeah. Well, I mean, wow.
Besides like Warcraft.
yeah, there's a few still around. Like Lord of the Rings Online still around.
That's that old.
What about EverQuest? Is EverQuest still? around?
The first EverQuest is still getting expansions.
You should do a thing about like the oldest online games that people are still playing.
Yeah,
That'd be really interesting.
We when Greg Miller still worked here, him and
Rest
I were
in peace, Greg.
Yeah, rip. Him and I were gonna play the original EverQuest, like do a Let's Play series where he played EverQuest 1. Wow. And to do a little research, I downloaded it. It's awful. Like you can't figure out where. Like it's really, really, truly bad.
Wow.
Wait, it's free?
Yeah, I must have been doing a free trial or something. I'm
Yeah.
not
So
sure.
you're saying people are still employed to like create assets or updates for these games?
Yeah, a few.
Wow.
I mean, I'm sure it's like some skeleton team that manages to just churn out a new continent every once in a while.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Damn.
And then another Square Enix game, Kingdom Hearts. The first Kingdom Hearts came out 15 years ago.
never played a Kingdom Hearts game.
Neither have I.
2002. There's got to be GameCube games that were out that year that were significant. Animal Crossing,
Maybe. I don't know. You tell me.
Metroid Prime.
Billy Hatcher.
Maybe Metroid Prime. That
Hatcher.
sounds right.
That actually does sound right.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
That might have been
Mario
2000.
Kart.
That might have been
Double
2001
3
or 3.
Might have been 2003.
Smash Brothers was January that year.
No, Smash was early. Smash was the launch game.
It came out. Remember, launch was just Luigi's Mansion and Rogue Squadron, and then Smash came out for the holiday. But I thought it was right after it.
Yeah.
If it wasn't, then it was Mario Kart.
You're forgetting a little game called Universal Studios.
What is that?
It's a game where you go to Universal Studios and you get to go on the rides. That was an actual launch game for the
listening.
GameCube.
Was it really?
Yeah. It's really bad.
I missed that one. 20 years ago, 1997 was a great year for the PlayStation, the original PlayStation. Yeah.
But nobody cared because Ocarina of Time came out that year.
Shots fired.
Wasn't that 98?
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, 98.
Bushido Blade, Einhander, Final Fantasy VII, and Final Fantasy Tactics, and Gran Turismo all turned 20 years old this year.
It's weird that Tactics and 7 came out
Well,
the same year.
7
I
got
know.
all the attention when Tactics is secretly the much better game.
Yeah. I think they both like
weird.
if you ask people nowadays, I think people look at those the same, right? Like I think they remember them both very fondly. But it definitely got overshadowed the year it came out.
What about Banjo-Kazooie?
That was later.
That was later. But the N64 did have GoldenEye.
GoldenEye. That's what I'm trying to think. Because there was like
GoldenEye.
one game a year early on for this.
GoldenEye is 20 years old this year, as well as Star Fox 64.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
There should be some.
My
fun
entire
pictures
life
for
just
that.
flashed before my
Yeah,
eyes.
exactly.
GoldenEye is 20 years old?
Yeah, dude. Yes.
Take a deep breath.
And you weren't even 20 when that game came out.
I'm gonna go to bed. Cry.
How about this? How about the 30-year-olds? These are the games turning 30 years old
Don't
this
do
year.
it, man. Don't
It
do
was
it.
a good year in the arcades. In the arcades, we got Afterburner,
This is 87.
1987. Afterburner, R-Type,
This is a tough year in the arcades.
and the original Street Fighter
Yeah.
came out that year.
Because it's after the crash, before Street Fighter 2 came out, is a tough time in arcades.
Yeah, they had a very dark few years.
Afterburner, I remember it being ubiquitous though. It was around everywhere. I played it in Iowa City when I was a kid at Bonanza.
I remember Bonanza.
Yeah, we used to have Bonanzas.
Yeah. I played Afterburner. They had the cockpit that you sit down in.
Yeah, for
Yes. And on console, turning 30 years old this year. Hopefully, Capcom will do something about it. Is Mega Man?
Oh, really? Mega Man turned 30?
Yeah, 1987.
87's a weird year.
Brutal.
It's 88 with the NES. I think 88's like the Zelda, Mega Man 2, Kid Icarus. Like,
Yeah,
I
the
think
crazy year.
that's the crazy year for the NES.
Yeah, I think so.
It's
30
always like
years before Mega Man came out that year. It was 1957.
Yeah.
That's how far we are from Mega Man right now.
Yes.
Oh my God.
That's crazy.
yeah.
It's like midlife crisis, man.
Well, I think about that like with my daughter. Like my wife and I watched Fellowship of the Ring, which is 15 years old now. 15 years old. Just had its 15th anniversary. So I'm like, that movie came out almost 15 years before my daughter was born. That's the equivalent for me of movies that came out in 1970.
Yeah.
That's what Fellowship of the Ring is going to be
2001.
to her, and stuff like that just really messes with my head.
That's really crazy because I remember seeing, as a kid in the
old.
80s, seeing movies from 15 years ago and being like, this was made 100 years ago.
Exactly.
totally.
Like when I try to show my daughter like Ghostbusters or something, it's like a movie from the 50s.
Yeah.
To me. Ugh.
Yeah, she's not going to want to watch that old stuff.
No.
Yeah,
Nope.
Well, now we all feel weird.
well, let's talk
sad.
about some new games then.
Okay,
Let's
All
talk about
right.
some
Yeah, we're young again.
games that are coming up on the horizon. We've played this little game before. There's a few games coming up that are rated M for mature.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have their ESRB ratings description of the content in the game. And I'm just going to read the content, and you have to tell me what game this is.
This is a deep
Okay.
cut. I remember this
Coming up,
game.
yeah.
I like
It's
the
been a
picture
while.
of this dude
Yeah,
behind
we
you,
made
by
a
the
few-
way.
I made
thought
a
that was-
feature
I thought
about
that was
this
you for a sec.
many years ago.
Yeah. Well, he's like, it's the gore. He can't handle the gore
It's
descriptions.
just too much for him.
Yeah.
Or, well, okay, never mind.
Yeah. He's doing something else.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to read the description of
We're
our
on the
first
same
game.
page.
This
Ghostbusters.
All mature.
This is a description of the content in the game. The reason why I got an M. You tell me what game
These
this
are
is.
upcoming games.
Yep, upcoming games.
And it makes sense because it's 2017. These are 17 and over games.
Yep, that's actually true. Yeah, that's why I picked this.
This is the year of M+. I'm coining it.
Here we go. This is an action game in which players control one of three factions in a protracted battle for dominance. As players complete mission objectives, feel free to chime in anytime. They use swords, axes, and spears to kill enemy warriors in melee-style
It's
combat.
rated M?
For Honor.
For honor. is
Nice.
correct.
Nice work.
Yeah.
I didn't realize For Honor would be rated M. Oh my
I
God.
thought the three factions. Well, I'll continue. Blood splatter effects occur
Oh,
frequently
yeah, I
as
guess there's
enemies
a
are
lot of-
killed. Some areas depict large blood stains and impaled heads on spikes.
Oh, my.
Players can also perform finishing attacks like decapitation and impalements that are sometimes highlighted by close-up camera angles. Cutscenes depict additional acts of violence, bound warriors decapitated by swords, and characters executed with weapon strikes to the head.
Yeah, that's very M. That's very
It's
M.
like
description.
Splatterhouse or Chiller.
Yes. it's true.
Very excited for that game. I played it 2 E3s in a row now, or two, just it's one of those games that's been on the trade show circuit. And I'm glad it's finally
For
here.
Honor coming out Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
People
I'll
are
get-
better at For
ladies.
Honor than me.
I'll get
That's
it
why
for
I
my
don't like
sweetie.
playing
Oh,
it.
yeah. That means I'm never going to play it.
Why?
I'm having that kid.
On Valentine's Day?
Well, no, it'll
trying.
already be here. Yeah.
Oh, well.
All right, this is the next
that
game.
kid.
Yeah.
Here's our next game. Here's our next M rating description. This is a compilation of puzzle adventure games
Rated M.
in which players follow high school students attempting to escape from a murderous robot bear.
Oh, Five Nights at Freddy's.
No.
A different murderous robot bear?
As players navigate their environments, they sometimes come across corpses of murdered classmates. Players investigate the various crime scenes. You do know? Looking for clues and interviewing rival classmates.
Is it oh man.
Finding the killer can trigger punishment cutscenes in which acts of violence are depicted. Students killed by a pitching machine, run over by a truck, or crushed to death. There are also depictions of characters getting impaled by spikes and knives.
What?
Blood is frequently depicted on and around dead bodies. Cutscenes also depict female characters dressed in low-cut outfits and bikinis that expose large amounts of cleavage. These still images occasionally depict characters in provocative poses, with the camera focusing on pelvic areas.
What is this game?
Think of the children, Damon.
Some scenes contain sexually suggestive dialogue. For example, that creep rubbed his ham hands all over me and called it a body check. More like sexual harassment.
Ham hands.
Another one is, my loins are still full of poison and I'd appreciate it if you could suck it out.
I would say like Friday the 13th, but I keep going back to that bear.
Finally, the words fuck, shit, and asshole appear in the dialogue. Any guesses?
No, this sounds like a very rude game. You say this is a compilation?
It is, yeah.
There's multiple games?
Danganronpa 1 and 2.
I didn't know they did
I
all
was
that.
even picturing that stupid bear.
Yeah, I
That
was
bear.
too.
That robot bear. Danganronpa.
Okay.
Andrew Goldfarb would have gotten that.
1 and 2 Reload. Coming to a Vita near you.
That's some dialogue.
Yeah.
The first one of those games is another game that's on my backlog.
Yeah. All right, last game. Last upcoming M-rated game. See if you can guess this one. This is an action game in which players assume the role of androids attempting to
Cool.
save Earth from extraterrestrial machines.
Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Spoilers!
Players use swords, spears, lances, and lasers to destroy enemy robots in melee-style combat. Large explosions and realistic gunfire are frequently heard during combat. Some sequences depict blood and additional acts of violence against human-like characters. A man is impaled through the chest with a sword, resulting in large blood splatter effects. Characters
but
lying in
they're
pools
robots.
of blood after getting stabbed.
Yeah.
Some characters
Androids, okay.
wear revealing outfits with partially exposed buttocks. One male character is depicted nude without genitalia. The words fuck and shit are heard in the dialogue.
What happened to that dude's genitalia?
Any guesses?
I mean, all that stuff's definitely in Mass Effect.
This one
it doesn't sound like
is
Mass Effect.
Nier Automata.
Oh my god.
Upcoming JRPG Nier Automata.
Wow.
All right.
Look out for the...
It's a lot of
Suddenly more interested in all three of these games.
dudes without parts, and then you got some butts hanging out. That sounds like a good game.
So, Elder Scrolls Oblivion, not Skyrim, but the previous one. We're all familiar with this game.
Yes.
It was originally rated T, and then there was a controversy, and it had to get pulled from shelves and re-released with an M rating because there's two sides to the story. There's Bethesda's side and the ESRB side. The ESRB says that Bethesda didn't accurately, because the ESRB, I think a lot of people don't realize this, they don't play through like every single game. They get, a
notes.
video and notes about what's in the game. Like here's the most
the industry
violent stuff.
self-polices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They submit a thing and say, here's what a sword strike looks like in this game. Here's how bad the dialogue is. And they left out in the Dark Brotherhood quest line, you see a character like disemboweled. It's the most violent part of the whole game. Like he's disemboweled and I think he's hanging from a noose and
And the
stuff.
thing is, you can see a little bit of his butt.
You can see a little bit of his butt.
Yeah.
And so because of that, because they said they misstated, the level of violence in the game, that game was pulled from shelves and re-released with an M rating.
Wow. So is the T version worth something?
That I don't know, but if you see a T version, it's just a little bit
Tell
of history
somebody.
there. It's well, and then there was the GTA San
Ask your
Andreas
parents. Yep.
with where it went. It went from M to adults only, right?
Yeah.
Well, that was the threat, right? Didn't they have to release a new version of the game
I think,
in
yeah.
order to retain
I
the
thought
M
they.
rating?
I don't remember. I mean, it's been so long ago. I thought they changed the rating, and then the game, like, there's all these boxes that have M on them that had a sticker over it that says AO. Wow, that might be. I might be.
I
making
don't
that
think
up.
there's ever actually been an AO game released. Is the problem? At retail.
Manhunt 2.
Well, there's a few AO
AO.
games, but
Was
they're
it?
like
No.
weird, porny games usually.
Yeah, that's true.
Manhunt 2 was definitely AO.
Was it?
Yeah. Rockstar one up themselves.
Anyway, I have another little game that I want to play with you guys. This occurred to me this week.
Little games.
I found some old NES instruction manuals.
Nice.
Ooh, awesome.
I'm going to read you the synopsis of a game from inside the manual.
Are these your manuals from when you were a kid?
No, I found them online.
Okay.
So let's see if you guys can guess which NES game
I love that.
this is. And that picture may or may not be of the actual game. So I'm going to read the synopsis. This is the actual game synopsis from within the manual.
That's Metroid.
And I think it's a game we all know. Here we go. The 8 worlds of solar system number 517 are no longer answering communications.
Metroid.
No, it's
Metroid.
Metroid.
It is not Metroid. You are redacted.
Okay.
A cybernetically enhanced human being
Mega Man.
who can run miles at an incredible speed without tiring.
Strider?
Blaster Master.
The Galactic Council of Sentient Races has sent you to the first planet of 517 to find out what has happened. Right away, you discover that all 8 planets of the solar system have been invaded by these serpent beasts and their minions, ruled by the galactic criminal Drax.
Contra?
Your mission is now clear. Run through all
good
8
guess.
worlds, destroying Drax's minions along the way until you meet Drax himself.
Who the
Fortunately, your unique ability has manifested itself into a world-jumping power.
Is it 3D World Runner?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Keywords are
Square Enix, or
worlds
Square.
run. You must run through all 8 worlds
Without getting tired.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of these
3D
instruction
glasses
books,
didn't work.
like a lot of that canon was just made up by like
By, like,
whoever,
the
like
localization.
yeah, like the
Yeah.
game came over and they got to see the game but wouldn't have any like collateral, and then they're just
no
like, well,
kidding.
based off.
Well, it's like, I think.
Imagine playing Contra and then having to write the Contra story.
Yeah, yeah. I think the original, the write up for Super Mario Brothers said something about
It's
how all the
insane.
toads were like trapped in the blocks.
Yeah.
and you had
all
to
the
free
Mushroom
their
Kingdom
souls.
people are turned into bricks. And there's art actually of Bowser doing that.
Yep.
Like official art.
the
from that
actual-
time.
What the
Sure,
hell?
they got
They
turned
never
into
really
bricks.
revisited that
No, no, it's
because
not.
it's insane.
It's a lot of murder.
Well, and
Yeah.
there's the and
They got
there's,
threatened with the AO rating after that.
there's also the Birdo controversy in the
Yep.
Mario
Yeah,
2
Yep.
instruction booklet.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or it's not even. It's a misprint too. It's not really. Yeah, it's
Yeah, it was
confusing
just-
because not only does it
called
say
it-
he thinks he's a girl, like that's interesting, but Birdo and Ostro are switched in their descriptions, so
Yeah.
it's even more confusing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love.
Ostro is clearly the ostrich.
Do you remember the thing with like it was either Final Fight or Double Dragon with that? It was like Lydia or something or Poison, where it was just like people were like, "Oh, you're punching a woman in that game," and they're like, "No,
Yeah.
that's not a woman.
Made it
That's a
official.
transgendered person.
Yeah.
Back off. It's okay." Can you imagine that happening now? You'd be like, "What? What? I think that's worse. I don't know."
Yeah.
Dude, old instruction booklets were the best.
they're really
they
good.
were so thorough and like here's every item in the game. Here's
Yeah,
every
here's the
enemy in the
enemies.
game with like
Here-
sweet art, and you're like, whoa.
Here's how to
man.
defeat the enemies. Yeah, 3D World Runner, the final sentence I thought would give it away. It says, for a new experience, put on a pair of 3D glasses and press select during play.
Yeah.
Now all the objects will come at you in 3D form.
That's pretty awesome.
It doesn't work.
No.
It's just red
thanks,
blue
Sam.
glasses for some reason. No, I have. You can try them at my desk. It's really weird. It's just red blue shifted, display. It should work. Rad Racer had it too, but it
Yeah.
doesn't. It just doesn't. I don't know why it doesn't work.
That's odd.
It seems like it should work. It just looks like crap though.
Oh man.
Let's check in with the listeners.
Hey,
Hi, listeners.
Remember, you can always reach us at the email address, gamescoop@ign.com, just like Brandon Hamilton did. He says, I've recently downloaded Star Wars trading cards
Yeah.
on my iPad Pro after hearing Justin talk about it, and I love
boy.
it. I used to collect them as a kid, and it brings me back. I'm wondering if Justin could maybe talk about the intricacies of collecting
goodness
and what I
gracious.
should be on the lookout for.
I'm super into that
You're
app,
into
by
this
the
too, I
way.
thought,
Yeah, you were too.
We found out a friend of IGN, a fan of IGN, actually is an artist for the Star Wars trading card app. And right before Christmas, he sent us, because Topps also makes physical cards, sent us an entire box of the physical cards. And for the first time since I was like 10, I got to sit around and just open up a bunch of packs of cards.
It's like the happiest I've ever seen you.
Oh man, it was great. It was like, it's like you don't really get those moments as an adult.
Yeah, I walked by and I was like, "What are you guys doing?" And they're like, "Opening cards. You want to do something?" I'm like, "Sure."
Yeah.
Didn't you
Sat
get-
down and started opening some
Yeah.
cards.
Didn't you get Porkin's signature?
I got
Oh, you got Akbar's.
I got Akbar's signature, which is also the voice of Bib Fortuna. Which weird story. I was at Comic-Con in New York 2 years ago, 2 Comic-Cons ago, and I was walking by this little booth, and this very little old man who looks like my grandfather said, "It's a trap." And I was like, I looked over, and it was a guy who does Admiral Akbar's voice, who also does Bib Fortuna's voice, who's one of my favorite Star Wars characters. And I was like, I'm going to get his autograph.
Yeah.
And Goldfarb was like, you totally should. And I was like, well, we're a little late today. I'll do it tomorrow. And the next day he wasn't there. And 3 months later, he passed away. And then I opened up the Star Wars cards, and
his
there was his
signature.
autograph. So
Wow.
it was really cool.
How long have they been sitting on its autograph?
Well,
It's actually just some Tops and
Yeah.
I'm going to make a guess and say he did it before he passed away.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Otherwise, it'd be
Pixar
a little
didn't
weird.
happen.
Yes, it's true.
But Brandon's wondering about any of tips.
Oh
that
man,
you guys have.
goodness gracious,
Because you
Brandon.
made some money off of it, right?
Yeah, I actually made a lot of money on
how he
Star
made his
Wars trading
millions.
cards. I
How do
sold
you
a
think you
card.
bought that house in Marin?
The Tops millions.
I don't know if I want to get into it too much because the
All right,
selling
hit Justin up on Twitter for
selling cards is not legal.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if hypothetically you were interested, if you got a super rare card, there might be a market for that on a website like eBay. But you'd surely be breaking the terms of service, and I don't recommend it. Where were we?
What's the rares?
No, so Star Wars Trading Card. It's a free app. What's the actual name of the app? Star Wars Card Trader.
Star Wars card
So you
trader.
Tell us
download-
what the rares are.
Well, but it doesn't. So there's new cards every single day. So you get credits every day. You get 25,000 credits, and then a
like a
pack
lot.
of cards.
Galactic credits?
Yeah, galactic credits. And a pack of cards is usually about 5,000 credits. So you can
Yeah.
open roughly about 5 packs of cards a day. And then there's all kinds of rules. And like sometimes there might be a pack of cards that's super expensive but has, rare stuff in it. But that's like a general rule of thumb. So what you want to do is save up all your credits and then just wait until you can do the odds of how many rare cards, which are called inserts, are going to be in a pack. So, God, it's kind of hard to articulate. So,
Quick footnote. One of the big things is that you get 25,000 credits a day, but after 5 days, if you do it 5 days in a row, you get 50,000.
Yeah.
So you get like a little spike at the end.
it works out to exactly 200,000 a week.
Yes.
So the way that you want to do this is like every day they'll release new cards. They might say, okay, here's a card. You have a 1 in 50 chance of getting it in a pack, and there's 5,000 of them. Once 5,000 of them have been opened, they're gone. And they'll do that again a few days later, and they'll do that again a few days later. But the thing is, the odds stack. So if you have a 1 in 50 odds of getting this one, you also have a 1 in 50 odds of getting this one and a 1 in 50 odds of getting this one. So if you time it right, there might be 4, 5, or 6 rare cards just waiting to be pulled in these packs. And so that's how I played the game. It's not even a game, it's an app. But I would save up all my credits until like, oh, there's, a bunch of rare cards in these packs. And instead of 1 in 50, I have a 1 in 8 or 1 in whatever chance of getting one because those odds all stack on each other.
Wow.
Interesting.
And that's
So what do the rare ones look like?
they're inserts. So they have, Altano, you can talk about maybe they have the different sets. Like,
Yeah, so they're all based on different styles that the artists either come up with, or they're based on classic, actual, physical, tangible Star Wars styles. So you have like the 1970s or 80s or, even 90s design ones. But they also do stuff like autograph cards, which I was like kind of weird about with Justin, because I was like, how are there only 100 of these? And he's like, well, they only got 100 autographs from John Boyega, and they scanned them all in, and you can only get them here. And I don't know if they like threw the actual physical cards in the trash or burned them or whatever.
I think they had them do separate digital signatures.
Yeah, so digital signatures, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So, and then when they're done, and you can't get them anymore. So they actually become really rare. And there's like sticker cards, there's like puzzle cards, hologram cards, and they're all just JPEGs.
Okay,
Yeah.
they don't animate
So-
or anything?
Yeah.
Not really, although the packs animate as you open them out, which is pretty cool. It sort of gives me that feeling that I had before Christmas of physically opening packs. And you can go and sort all your cards by how rare they are. And after a while, they get retired and they introduce new ones. Like when Rogue One, as like a big Star Wars fan, I actually really like this app because like Rogue One was coming out and they just put out a bunch of like the weird Jedha aliens, like the guy that looks like the dude from Journey and a bunch of other like that weird Moroff, that giant Yeti looking guy.
Yeah.
Who
And you
is
just got
barely in the movie.
He's barely in the
like
movie,
half a
but
second, yeah.
yeah, but you get a picture of him, and now I have a photo
Yeah.
of him on my phone, which is odd, So
They're
it's
always
cool.
they're always introducing new sets and retiring sets. And when I'm actually not that into the app anymore. When I was really into it about a year ago, they were doing a lot of places of Star Wars, and they did the Hive of Scum and Villainy. They did Mos Eisley.
Yeah.
And so then like I have a card for all the weird sketchy aliens in the cantina now. And like if you complete the way that it works is a set will be however many cards, 8 cards, 10 cards, 20 cards. And if you get the whole set, you get like the award card.
Yep.
And so they're always more rare, and that's what encourages people to trade. Like I'll trade you these 2 cards of this set for those 2 cards of that set because I'm trying to complete my set
Right.
and get the award card. And so now I have this Mos Eisley award card that's like pretty rare. I think the rarest card I have, there's only 10 of in the world.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I want to. You should take a look at mine and see if I have any cool rare ones, because I'm not. I just like collect them. I don't really trade them or anything like that.
Yeah, you definitely do it a little bit more casually than me at my peak, where I was like, I had a spreadsheet.
Yeah,
I maintained.
that's- yeah.
I was way deep
I don't
in
really
it.
spreadsheet. You're really good at spreadsheets, so I think that makes sense.
I also spreadsheet as a hobby
Yes,
and for work.
and for work, you
Yeah.
love spreadsheets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Game of the year.
Star Wars card trader. All right.
And the last thing I want to say, Topps actually they have like an NFL card trader and an MLB card trader,
Yep.
and I think they did one for
Star Trek, I believe.
like the other. It's not just sports and Star Wars. Like whatever Topps has the actual license for, they're doing digital versions of that now, and so it's pretty cool.
Is there a Garbage Pail Kids trader? I want to get into that.
I think there might be actually.
All right, I'm gonna look that up.
You
Yeah,
can
it's
also,
awesome.
this may or may not be against the Star Wars card trader rules, but you get 25,000 credits every day if you happen to have multiple phones or multiple tablets in your house. You could, in theory, maintain a bunch of different accounts. And
You can
get,
just spill the beans. You're already going to jail for the other thing.
you could get like if
already called the cops.
you had a spouse's iPhone and your iPhone and 2 old iPads, you could potentially getting 25,000 4 times a day.
Yeah, which are all great cheat codes to consider.
trade with
in
yourself?
prison.
Yeah, and then trade with yourself.
right, it is time to play the first round of Video Game 20 Questions of the year. Our suggestion this week comes from Shane Fool. And you fine gentlemen now have 20 yes or no questions to guess this week's mystery game. Let the questioning begin.
I think there's a hint on the board there.
Yeah, I always look back there every week, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's the same thing. Does your character speak?
It's a good one. It's a good first question of the year.
No.
Thought about it for a long time,
Yeah,
though.
that's weird.
It's not Chrono Trigger, guys.
Do you play as a person?
Yes.
Like as a human person? Is that what
Persona.
that means?
I mean, like not an animal.
Okay.
Yeah. So animal, robot, car, ship, all those got thrown in the trash. You're
Okay.
welcome.
Good work. Narrowed some stuff down for us. Now we don't have to ask about hands.
We still might if you can see your hands or not.
Yeah.
That was a big thing.
Was this game made before January 1st, 2000?
Yes.
Is it came before January 1st, 1990?
No.
90s, only 90s games. We'll remember this game.
Okay.
Is it an exclusive on a console?
No.
I always hate when that happens because the net gets bigger.
Was this is this like a 16-bit era game?
Yes.
All right, multi-platform 16-bit game. Early 90s.
Play as a person.
And you're a man.
And you don't
Maybe.
you don't talk.
You might be a woman or a baby.
Mario
person.
Oh, but Mario's exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not Mario's Time Machine.
Vector.
Also PC.
What about Vector Man?
He was
It's
exclusive as well.
Also not a person.
Yeah.
Even though it says man in the title.
What about Decapitac?
Mega
Does
Man
the
sort of
does the
a man.
skeleton count?
Yes. Yes, the skeleton counts as a person.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
If you saw a skeleton walking down the street, you'd not be like, look at that person.
I'd be
Look
like,
at
that used to be a person. It still is sort of part of a person.
It's like 2/5 of a person. All right.
You need more than just a skeleton to be a person.
That's not true. That's where it starts.
I'm going to ask Damon this just so you can settle it.
No, it's not.
Is a skeleton? No,
Is a skeleton a person? Yes.
No, it's
Yes, it is. So what makes a person then?
I'm still hung up on you saying people start as skeletons. That's not actually correct.
Is that last?
People start as skeletons.
People end as skeletons. How about that?
Yeah, that's true. What's going on?
What if there was just a brain? Is that a person?
Like a mother brain.
No, definitely not.
like
So
that
a brain
Johnny,
is not a person, but
like
a
that Johnny
skeleton
Depp
is.
movie
Yeah.
where he turns into a computer.
A brain is an organ. A skeleton is a person.
Is this a platformer?
Yes.
Thanks, Sam. Okay, so it's
I had a good one. Oh, is this game developed in Japan?
No.
it's an American
No.
person,
Well, it's just
Well-
non-Japanese.
possible skeleton platforming game.
Let's stop. Rise Star.
Hold on, what
That's a
what
star.
what
Oh,
platforming
yeah.
game starred people?
Wait, Aladdin.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Is this a okay? Is this a licensed game?
No.
Oh,
Alone in the Dark. Oh, not Alone in the
Home
Dark.
Improvement.
The other one. What was the one that was like Sam? What was the one that
Alone.
was like Prince of
Man.
Persia with a cinematic platformer? That's like I keep thinking Alone in the Dark, but it's called something
Futures,
else. That's exactly. I can't think of it. Home something. Future.
Yeah, well, we can get there.
uh,
That was multi-platform though.
do you have a gun?
Oh, that's a pretty good question.
No.
Pet flashback.
Flashback. You got it.
That's 10.
You don't have a gun. Flashback, you have a gun.
Does he get a gun
That's
in
a
Home
good
Alone?
question.
I feel like he should get a gun in Home
Nail
Alone.
gun.
And he gets a
That's
nail
licensed.
gun.
Dude,
Oh.
I watched Home Alone.
I watched Home Alone
Did
too.
you too?
Me too. You know who
It
else
got
did?
me in the Christmas
Everybody.
spirit.
It's on every channel.
Why don't watch it?
I watch that movie all the time.
I haven't seen that movie in like a decade.
Oh my god, it's
I
great.
didn't remember. In my mind, that movie is Kevin's torture house for 2 hours.
It's
That's
actually
like
it's
that's
5
like the
minutes.
it's the
So much
final
family
15
stuff.
minutes
Yeah.
of the movie.
Yeah, I thought the exact same thing watching it over the break.
I feel so bad for him too.
Yeah, me too. But
He
you
gets
know,
real lonely.
Alone on Christmas with a weird neighbor.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the ending, so I just think that neighbor is just a horrible person.
it's
great.
actually he was actually both robbers in disguise. A lot of people don't know that. Post credit scene.
What
halfway
question
there.
are we on, Damon?
Does he have a gun? No. We're on
Yeah.
10 questions.
Okay.
You've done 10 questions. You know it's a platformer
16-bit,
from the 90s, 16-bit era.
not Japanese.
Not exclusive.
Multi-platform game, yeah.
You're a person.
You're a person. You don't have a gun.
You
So
don't
hold
and
on.
you don't speak.
Not licensed is tough.
Yeah, but I mean, like, look at so I
Well,
keep thinking like
but we can narrow down developer potentially.
Yeah.
Like, because we know it wasn't made in Japan. That actually eliminates, all kinds of stuff. Mm-hmm. It eliminates
Developers are kind of weird then. I mean, there's like ActRaiser and stuff like that. Out of platforming.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Like, I feel like video games are still a very Japanese thing in the early 90s.
Totally.
So
No,
it's like,
it
who
does
was
make it weird.
what Western, like, what games were, Electronic Arts making back then? Like,
Should we figure out like sort of like tone? Like, is it Western or futuristic or
Western, it could be Sunset Riders.
is that a platformer?
Sort of.
Yeah, that's more of a beat 'em up.
Yeah, I agree.
Does this game take place in the past?
There's also a million guns in that game.
I can't answer that question.
Cool. Then we get a freebie.
Yeah.
Does it count? Does that question count?
No,
Okay.
I won't count it because I can't answer it.
Well, also like what was the past back
So
then?
that's neat because it's got kind of like some kind of weird fantasy unrelated to reality game. But you're a person or a skeleton.
And you don't have a gun, so you probably have a sword.
Could be ActRaiser.
Do you have a sword?
No,
Ugh.
it's 11.
What
That was
the
a burner.
Alex, not Alex Kidd. The other one, the one, James Pond. Are you a fish in
What
James
about
Pond?
like Adventure Island?
Yeah.
Adventure Island. Was that made in Japan?
Yeah, Hudson.
Yeah, Hudson.
Um,
Bad.
This is really hard.
no, the one made by Cliff Bleszinski before Duke Nukem,
Yeah.
Commander Keen. But
You
those
have
are,
a gun in that game.
do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's multi-platform.
Yeah.
You don't have a gun.
No, this is a multi-platform game.
It was okay.
Should we figure it out if you're a boy or a man
well, yeah,
An
or a
Earthworm Jim
woman,
wouldn't
or a
count.
skeleton?
or an earthworm.
Or earthworms are not people.
Okay.
They're invertebrates. They don't have any bones. Can't be
That's
person.
can't be a person without a skeleton.
Do you kill? I don't know how to ask this. Do you?
To kill things.
Yeah. Do you kill things in this game?
Yes.
So most games you kill stuff in, so that's a pretty big hint.
Yeah.
But if you don't really kill stuff,
What's
too
the
much.
one? Is it Adventure Boy, the one where he's on the skateboard and throws fruit?
That's Adventure
Wonder Boy.
Island.
Adventure Island.
Wonder Boy.
Wonder Boy's a different one.
But that's
He's
only
a
on
robot.
Genesis.
Wonder Boy's Genesis
Well,
exclusive.
it can be on like Game Gear. And
I played it
stuff.
on Game Gear.
But Wonder Boy's a robot, isn't he?
I don't know.
It's also Japanese.
What?
What?
Why would he be a robot?
Why
No,
wouldn't he?
I don't think he is.
Really?
I think he's just Hudson.
Am I thinking Astro
I think
Boy?
he's just
Yeah.
Master
thinking
Higgins
Astro
for
Boy.
Adventure Island.
Oh.
Astro Boy's a robot.
What the
Now there's still Bonk and Zonk and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Bonk is not is that multi-platform?
Well,
Yeah, Bonk was on NES,
Yeah.
but those are not 16-bit games.
You might
but
be
it's not in the
Bonk.
past.
He doesn't have a gun. That's definitely in the past. There's dinosaurs.
Yeah, but
didn't-
he said it's not in the past.
I did not say it's not in the past. I said I couldn't answer that
Yeah,
question.
but Bonk is in the
What about
past.
ninja-based games?
Oh, that's a good idea.
No, you'd have a sword in a lot of those, though.
Or shurikens.
And you definitely kill people in ninja-based games.
Yeah, you definitely.
I
kill
said you
people.
do kill things in this.
Castlevania,
Yeah, but you
Castlevania
thought
4?
about it.
Castlevania 4? Okay, is this game part of a franchise?
But no, that's not a multi-platform game.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
for
yeah.
Japan.
But I like the franchise question.
Is this game part of a franchise?
Or is it?
No.
Oh, so it never got a sequel.
Whoa, it's the
Oh,
only
this is real
one.
hard.
It's the only
Real
one.
hard.
There can
And
be only one.
It's the only one, and it's not licensed.
Even ActRaiser got a second one.
Yeah. Oh, we're in real trouble.
Is this a critically regarded game? Like, is it a positively reviewed game?
Yes.
Okay.
What happened? Why didn't they make another one?
Yeah, that's what I always want to know.
That's not a yes or no question.
This is really hard. This is
What
really
happened?
hard.
It's probably not that hard if we just focus. We have enough.
We
clues to
have
guess
really,
right now.
really good hints. Like there's been no big misses in
Do
our
we know-
questions.
What are your favorite Super Nintendo and Genesis games? I
mean-
really what you got to figure out.
Oh, it could, well, it's not licensed. I keep
Should we
coming
just
back to like
ask-
Simpsons games.
I'm kind of
and,
interested
like-
if it's on Super Nintendo. You know, because we heard it's multi-platform. Is this
Yeah.
on Super Nintendo?
Yes.
Okay.
That's 15.
So what are what are the best Super Nintendo platformers?
Super Metroid, Mario.
Yeah.
Metroid, but that's not multi-platform. Yeah,
Well, it's
Bubsy,
Japanese made.
Bubsy's
Era of the
a-
Acrobat,
It's a cat. That's a bat.
Home Improvement.
That's a man.
Jurassic Park.
Home
Jurassic
Improvement
Park.
is definitely not a critically
That's good.
acclaimed
Jurassic
game.
Park was on multiple
it's-
consoles and it was made in America.
But you have a
it's not
gun. You definitely
licensed.
shoot people, and we know what year it takes place in.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a not licensed game.
And it's not licensed.
The not licensed thing's really tripping me up.
Oops. Yeah.
You look like you're just waiting for a high five for the
Yeah.
longest.
With 5 questions left,
Bring it home.
you guys know it's a platformer from the 16-bit era, starring a person who does not have a sword but does kill things.
Are you sure you have a gun in Flashback? Because it meets all the criteria except
for
that.
sure.
you
Well,
do.
what's the other one that looks like that? The cartoony one.
Alone
thought that was
in the
Flashback.
dark.
No. There's Flashback, and then there's the one that's like it's all rotoscoped.
Another World?
Yeah, or yeah, something like that. I never played it, but
It
Out
might
of
be
This
another
World.
world.
Out of This World.
or Zombies Ate My Neighbors, or all those games.
like-
It's probably one of those games.
Yeah. Zombies Ate My Neighbors isn't a platformer, but you're in the right ballpark.
How do you narrow these down?
Yeah, that's what I don't even know what the next question is.
Yeah, we would try to narrow it down with more questions like, is it in the past or is it?
Yeah, but we
I mean,
did that.
it could be one of those games for sure. I mean, were those both rotoscoped?
Yeah.
Is this game famous for its graphics?
No.
So it's not one of those.
Not one of
things.
those.
This is killing me.
I mean, at this is
Those are
about
really good guesses,
this is
though.
about the point in 20 questions where I give up. We're getting very
We have
close.
a lot of questions to go, though.
We have four
questions.
Yeah, we can make it work. We can make it work.
And the graphics aren't that super impressive.
no.
There's still Mega Man.
Yeah, but that's a
That's
franchise
Japanese.
and got sequels, and you have a
Yeah.
gun.
A one-off, a well-liked one-off where you play as a person.
And Sunset Riders we couldn't do.
Not licensed, not part of
Yeah.
a franchise.
I
Sunset
don't even know what type of game that is.
Sunset Riders, you have a gun.
Like the only one-off person-based platformers I can think of are all licensed, all
Yeah.
based off the Disney movies and stuff like that.
Yep.
You're gonna say it, and I'm gonna
What
be
about-
so mad.
I know.
We've touched on Booger Man. Does that work for any of these?
Maybe it's Booger Man.
Boogerman, did that come to multiple platforms?
Yeah, I had on Super Nintendo. It was definitely on Genesis.
Oh, it might be Boogerman. I don't even know what year
Comics
that
Zone. That was a
Comics,
beat 'em up.
Yeah.
but that was only on Genesis.
Genesis exclusive. Might
That's
be
why the
Boogerman.
Super Nintendo thing
I
helps.
like Boogerman. I think we should go Boogerman.
Booger Man.
Boogerman never got a sequel. There's no Boogerman cinematic universe.
What's a smarter way to narrow it? Are you superhero in this game?
Yes.
I think it's
Booger Man
I
is
think you did it.
superhero.
I think you cracked it.
There's also Captain Novolin, which is a game about having diabetes.
Yeah, but that's not critically acclaimed.
What?
I have it. It's rare.
There's also that Super
guessed
Nintendo
it.
game where that guy who smokes cigarettes, you go inside his body. Do you know about that one?
What?
No.
I played a ROM of it a couple years ago.
That sounds
I'll be in
great.
jail with Justin.
Yeah. I think Tops jail.
Yeah.
I mean, Booger Man's a superhero.
Nerd jail.
Yeah, I think. Do you?
Let's do it. Drop the beat. Let's go for it.
Does this game have gross out humor in it?
Yes.
All right,
Cool.
we did it.
It could be Bart versus the Space Mutants.
That's a franchise.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Sam, do the honors.
Is this Booger Man?
It
A
is
pick and
Booger
flick
Man.
adventure.
Oh my god!
You could have asked if this was a pick and flick
Wow.
adventure.
Is this a pick and flick? I should have done that first.
I'm so glad you're here. I don't think we
You
ever would have
mentioned
gotten
Booger
that.
Man like 10 questions ago.
Did you?
Yeah, he offhandedly said Booger Man. And so I
Nice
didn't know if you were
work.
going to get back there to actually
Super
guess
hard.
it. Yeah.
Wow, that was a.
beyond the cruelness that we usually endure.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
But if we hadn't
Nice work. Who was that from?
That was Shane Fool who
Shane
suggested
Fool.
it.
You're Shane
Interplay
Smart
made
today.
it.
That was
But
very
Interplay developed and published it.
Who did they become?
They're not. Last year they sold off all their video game assets. So they're just I don't know what they're doing, but it's not video games anymore.
When you
1994.
When you retire, you need to start a Boogerman Kickstarter and
They,
make a
they
sequel.
did it.
What?
But then they didn't reach their funding.
No!
Yeah, they announced we're bringing Booger Man
talk
back,
about it on the
everybody, and
show?
then it didn't reach its goal.
That's nonsense.
typical Booger Man. So if this wasn't all of those other things, but if you had said you were an animal, it would be Earthworm Jim.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep, I conflate those
No, you
games
have
in
a
my
gun
head
on
all the
Earthworm
Does
time.
he have a gun?
It's totally
Is that
around
gun?
that same time period. Yeah.
You're right in that I don't know what era Boogerman took place in.
Yeah.
in
I
the
can't
game. I don't
answer
know
that.
what year it was.
Yeah, I didn't know if he's
The year 20XX.
If it's a sci-fi game.
And
And
it
then you asked
knows.
if he spoke and like he belches. He belches, but I don't think that counts.
My dad belches the alphabet.
Yeah, so I
That's
don't-
speaking. Does he have a skeleton?
I can't say for certain.
What
I've
if it
never
was all
seen
these
it.
things and licensed?
Aladdin,
Their games.
Well, you
Tick
didn't use
Tick
the
was a superhero.
the Tick.
Also, I'm going to be totally honest with you. I don't know if Boogerman has a skeleton. It just might be boogers.
Yeah,
I got that game for Christmas.
Really?
You can fart in that game.
Yeah.
So it was really
And you have to
popular on
drink
Genesis,
your-
but not on Super Nintendo.
Your health is you drink milk, so you can create phlegm.
loogies.
To spit your
Oh.
loogies.
That's horrible. I like how we started the show being like, I really miss getting games for Christmas. You're like, I got that one for Christmas.
It was actually a fun
Did you
game.
have
It was
for
good. Yeah, it was a
Genesis?
good game.
I had it on Genesis.
yeah, it was very uncommon
It
for
came
Super
out
Nintendo.
like a year earlier on Genesis. Wow. The Super Nintendo port was late.
It's really pretty though. Damn.
So when they announced that Kickstarter to bring it back, I tweeted about how crazy that was. And then someone who like used to work at Interplay saw it and tweeted back at me is like, yeah, I was there at the launch party for Boogerman in 1994. Like
Pictures or
the
didn't
launch
happen.
party for Boogerman.
That's insane. I wonder like what kind of food they serve there.
Yeah,
They had like a weird fondue tower and stuff like that. Booger burgers.
Just lots of milk.
God.
Plenty of milk on hand.
I'm a well-known milk drinker on record.
Yep.
But the idea of milk at a party, nah.
No, that's
Nah.
not okay.
You don't do party milk?
No, I don't do milk at a party.
But you do drink milk with dinner, so what if it was a dinner party?
No.
That's not okay.
Weird that you're so into it, but you're totally embarrassed by it as well.
Don't want to do it in front of anyone.
No, but context, like I would never order milk at a
What
restaurant.
about that blue Star Wars milk?
Yeah.
Blue milk? Blue Harvest?
I like that shot in Rogue One where they're like, hey, remember
you
the blue milk? Remember
yeah.
that?
Yeah, my wife looked at me and
Well,
was like,
I
I
mean-
can't believe you even remember that from that movie.
Yeah.
It's a whole.
Everybody
It's
does.
a thing.
But that's
Yep.
not as obvious as the two guys
Yeah.
from Mos Eisley.
Oh my
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
remember these guys?
Hey, it's
They're
us.
back.
They
Dr. Ebazon and Ponda Baba. You remember them? And
They
one of them was like
apparently-
waving his arm. I might lose this someday.
Hey, be careful! I'm wanted on 8 systems. Remember? Oh wait, that hasn't happened yet.
What about Leia's dad, who's just like, hey, I know a guy. He's a good Jedi. And he's been a real,
Real
good
good
boy.
Jedi.
And I have a wonderful lady who I can trust with this secret. Wink, Star Wars.
I like Rogue One. I think
I
we
do
all
too.
like Rogue One, yeah.
Good time.
too.
That Darth Vader scene at the end
Is the best.
Spoilers, everybody.
Yeah, but
It
I
is
didn't.
the
I won't
best.
get into it.
Yeah, but I mean, he made out with Palpatine for 7 whole minutes. It was disgusting. The Half My Theater was throwing up.
It puts that first scene, and I immediately went home and watched New Hope.
Yeah.
And the first scene where Darth Vader breaks in, like I was really scared of that scene when I was
Yeah.
a kid, and now I'm scared of it again.
I know, it's really cool.
Those guys are gonna get messed up.
It's also really funny seeing him talk to people like
Yeah.
in the first scene because he comes into A New Hope and he's like, "Where is everybody that I'm looking for?" And you're like,
Traitor
5
and a
minutes ago you were
spy."
killing everyone. You didn't ask any questions.
Yeah.
You cut a guy through a door.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Star Wars.
That's all the scoops we have for you this week. But next week should be a big week for us. Next week we're going to get all the big info on the Switch.
Oh, that's right.
Nintendo Switch.
Plus, we'll have our game of the year to talk about.
We'll have Game of the Year to talk about, but I'm excited about the Switch stuff, Sam.
He's not
I
excited.
cannot
about it.
believe we're getting a new Nintendo console announcement.
We get
next
release
week.
date, launch lineup.
If they
more
show a
details.
Mario
We're gonna
game?
get the price.
You think we're gonna get the price? Did they confirm that?
I mean, I think
Yeah.
this is when
It's
they're gonna
gonna
put all
be
the
out
cards
so
on the
soon.
table. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
I
no
know.
more time.
I know.
If not now, when?
I don't know. Nintendo's weird. They play this
What if
game
they're-
in mysterious
if we
ways.
can't
What if
get
they're just
these,
like,
like,
we're
the
never
NES
announcing the
Classic,
price?
I know.
Yeah.
Just buy.
What are we
Go
gonna do?
show up at the store on launch day
Yep.
and see how much it is.
Yeah, every store is allowed to charge whatever they want.
I was thinking about that. Like,
Pay
if we,
what you want.
if we can't buy Switches at launch, like I straight up can't do my job at work. Like I don't know. Like
gonna be
Nintendo's
really
gonna send
sad.
one or two to the office, but we're gonna be fighting over those.
Yeah.
it's bad.
Sure. All right. Remember, you can always reach us at the email address gamescoop@ign.com. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Sam. My name is Damon. This is IGN Gamescoop, and we're out.
Boogerman.
Boogerman.
Take and flick adventure.